So I've woken up this morning to the news that frontline NHS workers will be sacked in the spring if they haven't had, if they're not double vaccinated. Um, Now there was a recent Lancet study that looked into whether or not the double vaccinated still transmit the virus, and it turned out that actually, according to that study, the double vaccinated still are every bit as infectious as the non-vaccinated. They get protected against, having severe symptoms, but they are still every bit as infectious as people who aren't vaccinated. So um, there's absolutely no logical reason at all that frontline NHS staff would need to be double vaccinated to do their job, because the only people they would be putting at risk by not being vaccinated would be themselves. Now, also, if it was if the real issue was, they'd be dangerous to the patients by not being vaccinated, then the government would want them to be vaccinated before the winter, because that's when the most COVID deaths and flu deaths will be. But of course, that's not the case, and they know that there would be an absolute huge crisis if 60,000 care home, NHS staff, had to be sacked before Christmas. That would cause a huge care crisis and make this year's deaths, COVID deaths, even higher. So that's not what they're going to do. It's not about that. It's about forcing people to get a vaccine, to get a medical treatment that many of them don't need, which is why they will not have to get the vaccine until the spring. So the government will really disgustingly, let the our NHS workers protect and care for the vulnerable all throughout the winter, through a difficult winter that's coming up, and then promptly sack them in the spring if they haven't got this medical treatment that many of them don't even need, and that's absolutely vile.